Tropical Storm Allison was a weak storm to begin with, and it came into Texas, and it moved north of Houston. And then, after another day or two, it started to move very slowly to the southwest of Houston. So here it is, parked southwest of Houston. Starts grabbing moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, and it just became a spinning wheel of moisture, just pulling more and more rain into southeast Texas. It started raining on a Friday about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it didn't stop until 4 o'clock in the morning the next day. 12 hours of solid rain, and in some cases as much as 3 inches per hour. So it's coming down in sheets. I mean, you can't see anything in front of you. It's coming right across the yard and across the patio, and right to this edge here is where the water came. So this whole backyard was covered. Thank goodness it stopped. And of course, I didn't have any flood insurance. So I'm thinking just one more hour of rain and I'm in trouble. Neighbors who had a newer home and built a little higher were going through the same thing. Their homes were also becoming islands. Those people who, like me, living right around this neighborhood, thought they weren't in a high-risk flood area, and they got flooded, and their homes got ruined. I'm a television meteorologist. I know what flooding can do. I've studied it. I've seen the devastation that flooding can cause, but because I am not here in Houston in what we call a high-risk flood area, I didn't have flood insurance. I just had the regular homeowners. That doesn't cover you for flood. So here I am on television all night long telling people that the flood is coming, and I myself am making deals with higher powers because I don't have flood insurance. The next day, I called my agent.
When Frank called and asked me about flood insurance, I thought to myself, well, isn't that kind of strange? Here we have one of our #1 meteorologists in the area giving information to the public about a hurricane or tropical storm, and this man doesn't have flood insurance? At the time of his phone call, he told me that he noticed that it was several inches from coming into his house. And I said, now that is a real problem. We need to make sure that we protect your house.
After my close call with Allison, I'll never own a home again that does not have flood insurance. Ike was a much different situation because Ike was a storm that was in some sense predictable. We didn't know exactly where Ike would go, but we knew pretty well what Ike would do because you could almost envision this 20-foot wall of water coming at you. So it was pretty clear that wherever Ike actually went into, they were going to see a huge surge of water and a huge flood event. You look at Ike, and it is very comparable to Katrina. There are some people who can't just find their house because the house is gone. They can't find their lot because the land is gone. This is my home on Galveston Island. It's a new home, so it's built to code, but that doesn't keep the water from coming in. And I had 30 inches, 2.5 feet of water that came in the lower level. About $8,000 in damage is what occurred here. Because I had flood insurance, which cost me $400 a year, $6,000 of that $8,000 was covered. You want to have flood insurance, especially, obviously, on Galveston Island. Thank goodness I did. You never know whether you're going to be the one that gets away with the water just coming to your doorstep and stopping, or you're going to have devastating floodwaters in your home. You just never know. The storm happened September the 13th. I made the claims in the next 2 weeks after that, and probably by the first week of November, I got my check. And you hope you never have to call your insurance agent except to say hello and happy birthday. But if it does happen to you, you want to have an agent to call. You want to have that insurance policy on your side. It's that simple.